Good day to you, you magnificent truth seekers. Grab your finest bone china and perhaps a stiff double measure of gin, because the royal family is currently playing a high-stakes game of musical chairs, and it looks like Sarah Ferguson is about to pull the seat right out from under the Montecito branch. We've spent the last few years hearing one very specific, very polished, and very expensive version of the Megxit saga, usually delivered via a linen-clad interview under a California sun or a moody, slow-motion Netflix documentary. But what happens when the woman known as Fergie, a person who literally wrote the book on royal survival and several others on talking helicopters, decides she needs to balance her own books? The whispers from the palace walls suggest that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex are currently sweating more than a marathon runner in a velvet tuxedo. Quick favor, if you are loving this royal breakdown, do hit that subscribe button. Over 92% of viewers haven't yet, which is a statistical tragedy we can easily fix together. It is free, takes a mere second, and honestly, it means the world to us here at Royal Fusion TV. Done? Marvelous. Now, back to the show. Let us dive straight into the meat of this royal sandwich. Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, has always been the ultimate royal wildcard. She is the aunt who stays slightly too long at the Christmas party but undeniably has the best stories. However, word on the modern street, and by street, I mean the highly curated corridors of power in 2026, is that Fergie is desperate. Now, in royal terms, desperate usually means your jewelry insurance premium is overdue, or you are looking for a massive new lucrative deal to maintain the lifestyle to which one has become accustomed. And what is the fastest way to a monumental payday in the current climate? You guessed it, a tell-all memoir that pulls no punches. This brings us to why Harry and Meghan are reportedly gripped by fear. Think of it like this: for years, the Sussexes have held the only microphone in the room. They have had the Spotify deals, the Netflix specials, and Harry's book, Spare, which gave us more information about his frostbitten extremities than any of us actually requested in our prayers. The royal family's official strategy has been never complain, never explain, which essentially gave Harry and Meghan a total monopoly on the narrative. They were the only ones talking, so their version of events became the default history. But Fergie? Fergie does not always play by the never explain rule. If she signs a deal to tell her truth, the Sussexes lose their monopoly, and that, my friends, is where the cold panic sets in. But hold your horses, because if you think this is just about some dusty old family grievances from the 90s, you haven't seen how deep this rabbit hole actually goes in the present day. The real kicker here, the absolute spanner in the works, is the alternative version of events. Royal expert Kinsey Schofield has pointed out that the Sussexes are likely terrified of a rebuttal. Imagine you've spent 4 years telling the entire world you were the misunderstood hero of the story, only for your aunt-in-law to walk in and say, "Actually, I was in the room, and that is not quite how it happened, darling." It is the social equivalent of being caught in a grand lie by someone who has the receipts, the dates, and the high-definition CCTV footage. Fergie has been in the inner circle for decades. She has seen the transitions, the heated arguments, and the behind-the-scenes machinations of the firm. While the King and the Prince of Wales are far too dignified to stoop to a he-said, she-said battle in a paperback, Fergie has much less to lose and a lot more to gain financially. She is the ultimate insider-outsider. If she decides to monetize her memory, she could challenge the very foundation of the Sussex brand. It is one thing to fight a silent, stoic institution. It is quite another to fight a woman who knows exactly where the bodies, and the vintage scandals, are buried. If that does not make you lean in a little closer, wait until we talk about the potential mole inside the family who might have given Fergie the ultimate upper hand. Here is where the plot thickens like a well-made Sunday roast gravy. We know that at least one of Fergie's daughters, Princess Eugenie, has remained incredibly close to Harry throughout this entire family breakdown. They have been spotted at the Super Bowl together, they have visited each other's homes, they are the remaining bridge between the olive groves of Montecito and the grey stone of Windsor. This means Fergie isn't just guessing what has been happening in Harry's world, she likely has a front-row seat through her own children. If Fergie writes a book, she isn't just writing about the big hair and shoulder pads of the 1980s. She is potentially writing about the private conversations she has had through her daughters in the last 18 months. She knows the moods, the motives, and the real reasons behind the rift that the cameras didn't catch. For Harry and Meghan, this is the ultimate betrayal. To have your version challenged by a family member who actually knows the truth is a PR nightmare of epic proportions. They have spent millions of dollars crafting a specific image of victimhood and resilience. If Fergie comes out with a desperate but honest account that paints a different picture, the Sussex brand does not just wobble, it might just collapse under the weight of its own contradictions. So, are we looking at the ultimate royal showdown, or is Fergie just playing a very clever, very sharp game of financial leverage to get what she wants? The irony here is delicious enough to be served at a formal state banquet. Harry and Meghan moved to America to find their voice and tell their story, yet they seem incredibly uncomfortable with anyone else doing the exact same thing. It turns out that freedom of speech is a wonderful concept until someone else uses it to talk about you. Fergie needs the money, the public has an insatiable thirst for the gossip, and the Sussexes desperately want control. It is a three-way collision that is bound to leave some debris on the palace lawn. The financial pressure on Fergie is real. Reports suggest she is looking for ways to solidify her future, and in the world of publishing, royal secrets is the highest valued currency. If she is indeed desperate, she becomes the most dangerous person in the royal orbit because she is no longer bound by the fear of being cast out. She's already been there and done that. She has survived the toe-sucking scandals and the debt crises. She is essentially bulletproof at this point. Whether Sarah Ferguson actually puts pen to paper or simply uses the threat of a book to secure her position and perhaps a bit of quiet support from the palace remains to be seen. But the mere fact that Harry and Meghan are reportedly in fear tells us everything we need to know. Their narrative is fragile, and the Duchess of York might just be the one to shatter it with a single, well-placed chapter. In the high-stakes world of royal politics, the person with the last word usually wins, and Fergie is currently clearing her throat and reaching for the microphone. Thank you ever so much for watching. Would you like me to look into the latest update on Princess Eugenie's role in this royal drama and see if she really is the bridge between the two warring camps?